Good morning, friends. I'm going to share with you Daniel chapter 6. Now, if we remember, in Daniel chapter 5, Belshazzar was making bad choices that disqualified him from the ultimate plan of God. So he was removed, and King Darius came into play. Now, King Darius was looking at Daniel and talking to Daniel and seeing what he had. He was the new owner of the kingdom, and so he wanted to see what was going on. And as he talked to Daniel, he really liked Daniel. And so he made Daniel and two other guys the presidents of 120 princes in his kingdom. And it was their job, those three presidents, to make sure those guys were not cheating him and making him lose money. No bribes. Now, a bribe means, if you don't make me pay $5 to the king, I'll give you $2. And the man goes, okay. And so he takes the $2 and somehow fixes it where it doesn't look like he owes $5 to the king. That would make the king lose money. Well, Daniel didn't do that. Daniel was honest. And so as he was looking at Daniel's work, he went, wow, I think I want Daniel to be over all of them. I don't need three presidents. One's plenty. And as he was thinking these through, he was talking a little bit about it. Maybe he said some things, but they heard it. The other two presidents and the princes heard it, and they didn't like that because they were greedy. And they were stealing money from the king by doing that. Well, they said, we gotta get rid of Daniel. Daniel is messing up our business. Oh, man. I mean, I've tried to say, hey, let's do it. And he says no. He won't even do it. He's so stinking honest. Honesty never wins. We gotta figure out how to get rid of that guy. How can we do it? Let's watch him. He's gotta lie sometimes. He's gotta do something wrong sometimes. Let's follow him. Yeah. So every day they watched Daniel. Now, did you know the devil, he is watching us too? He is looking and seeing where we fall. And when we make a mistake or when we lie or when we cheat, he goes, I can use this later. I can deceive them and trick them and tempt them into doing that later. But when you do what's right, say, no, I'm going to do what's right. If you see $5 somewhere and your friend walked by and you kind of think it's hers or not sure, and you say, hey, did you drop that $5? And she says, oh my goodness, I did. Thank you. That was good to do that. You could have just put it in your pocket and went, I'm not going to ask her because it's probably not hers anyway. Right? Now, remember, that makes the devil very mad. He goes, oh, I can't even trick her or him. I can't do it. And that makes the devil lose his power on you. Okay? Well, they were following him around because they wanted to trap him. But everywhere he went, he did right. If somebody dropped their money, they'd say, here's our chance. And he'd say, did you drop it? And they're like, ugh. Why? They were not happy that every single time Daniel wanted to do what's right. Now, they didn't realize he loved God. He was so thankful for God. He wouldn't even be alive. He wouldn't even have this great job. He was working with a king. That is so cool. What if you had a job that was working with a king? Wouldn't that be the greatest? You could talk to him about stuff. Or what if you had a job with one of your favorite actors? So Daniel had a really good job, and he was grateful to the Lord. So 3 times a day he would tell God, thank you, God. You are so great. I wouldn't even be here. I could have died on the way to Babylon because all of our kings and people were worshiping idols that can't even talk or help them. But God, you saved me. I know it. And one day our people are going to get to go back to Jerusalem. Oh, God, you're so wonderful. Now, these guys were watching him do that. What's he doing? Oh, he's praying to his God again. Man, he does that a lot, doesn't he? Yeah, 3 times a day. He's talking to the air. It's so ridiculous. Hey, that's it. What do you mean that's it? Well, the only way we can trick him is it has to do something about his God. Now, they didn't know God was powerful and mighty and strong. They didn't know what God had already helped Daniel with. Daniel was 10 times stronger because he chose to put God first. They didn't know that. They may not have known the story of Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah and how God saved them from the fire. Daniel knew that story. And they might not have known the time when Daniel needed to know the king's dream or they were all going to be killed, remember? They just thought he was talking to the air and wasting his time. So they went to the king and they said, "Oh, king, you look awfully great today." And he said, "Oh, well, thank you." And they said, "As a matter of fact, you're awesome. Look at you and your greatness. I think you should make a rule for 1 month that everybody will only ask you for something, just like as if you were a god. They can't go to their banks, they can't go to their doctors, they can't go to their teachers, they can't go to any god but you for 30 days because you are awesome. And all of your princes and all of your presidents agree. So sign the paper. Come on, sign it. Sign it with your ring and mark it that it can never be changed because King Darius, you are the man. Wow. Well, he thought about it and went, "Well, I guess I am great. What, and all? Okay, sure, 1 month won't hurt. They can come to me. I will help them. I will be their source of whatever they need, because I am King Darius the Great." Hey, that sounds awesome. So he signed the paper. Well, when Daniel heard about it, Daniel went, "Oh." Now, those men lied. Daniel was one of the presidents, and Daniel did not sign that paper, and he would have never signed that paper. So Daniel thought about it, and he said, I could just pray in my heart, and nobody would know that I'm praying to God. But God, He's so wonderful to me. And I know that people are going to do whatever they're going to do. They change their minds all the time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do... But you know what? I've determined in my heart that I am going to honor and thank my God. And I am not going to change the way I live my life. So when he walked into his room, his window was already open. And as he thought about it, he remembered how great God was. And he just couldn't help himself. He started singing and thanking God and praying to Him and just telling Him how wonderful He is and how He saved him from so much junk. And he was just so grateful when the men saw it. And they went, we knew it. Let's go tell the king. Let's go tell the king. So they go running after they saw that what he had done. And they told the king, they said, "King, didn't you sign the paper? Didn't you sign the paper that anybody who worships any other god or any other idol or anything else but you through this whole month will be thrown into the lion's den? Didn't you say that? Didn't you mark that down as a punishment? Didn't you?" And he said, yeah. He probably was thinking, what's wrong with you guys? I thought I was all great. Now you guys are acting weird. Why are you being bossy? And you know what? That's how the devil is. He will tempt you to do something and act like he is your friend. But he has an agenda. He has something that he wants to use against you. Don't listen to him. Well, the king didn't understand why they were acting so crazy until they said, Daniel, he prays to his God 3 times a day, and he doesn't even care what you said or what you wrote. And then the king realized, oh my goodness, my friend Daniel, he didn't sign it. They lied to me. They didn't like me. They didn't care about me. They were using me for their own good. Why, I oughta, but I don't have time to think about that right now. So all night he searched in the papers to see if he could get out of it. He did not want his friend Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den. He was so upset with himself for thinking, oh, I thought they liked me. Oh, I can't think about that right now. I gotta free my friend. I have to help him. Well, he could not help Daniel. And Daniel knew that. That's why God is our source, friends. Men, women, mommies, daddies, grandmas, grandpas, presidents, all of these people cannot give us what only God can give us. Well, this king tried everything he could to save his friend Daniel, but he could not. It was marked, once you say it, you're the king and you use your ring, you cannot change your mind. So the men came in and they said, King, you're wasting your time. It is in the rule book. He is to be thrown into the lion's den right now because you said it. King, king, king. They were horrible. Well, sadly, he said, okay. So they took Daniel and they put him up to the pit where the lions were. And you know what the king said to Daniel? He said, Daniel, your God, who you serve continually, he will save you from the lions. Now, isn't that encouraging? Daniel heard that and he was like, yes, he will. And maybe Daniel's angel had whispered that right into King Darius' ear to give Daniel encouragement. Well, they threw Daniel into the lion's den, and it was probably pretty scary to fall. And he hit the ground, and they put the stone on top of it. And the king sealed it with his ring that nobody could get Daniel out until the morning. Well, all night the king could not sleep. He was so sad. And they said, you want your dinner, king? He said, no, I don't want my dinner. I want Daniel. My Daniel. It's all my fault. Why did I listen to those men? Why? They tricked me. They said, you want music? He said, no, I don't want no music. I'm not happy for music. I want Daniel. And he cried, friends, all night. And he couldn't sleep either. Well, Daniel was in the lion's den, and he looked around, and the lions were looking at him. Now, if the lions could talk, they might be saying something like this. He looks pretty meaty. Oh, yeah, he sure do. I think I'm going to eat his arm. I love arms.
Not me. I like legs. I'm a leg man. Oh, yeah.
Well, I want the ears. They're like little chips. Come on, men, lions, let's go get him. And the lions could not open their mouth. The angel had shut their mouths tight. He was protecting Daniel. Well, all night they were, and maybe they were trying to eat him. And Daniel said, oh, over here on my back. Oh, that feels good. Over to the left, over to the right. And Daniel probably had the best sleep in a while because God was protecting him. But not the king. He slept better in the lion's den than the king did in the palace. Now, early in the morning, because the king was already awake, he goes running as fast as he could. He said, take off the rock, take off the rock, take it off. And he shouted, Daniel, was your God able to save you from the lions? And he heard, live forever, O king. God's angel came and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not hurt me, because I did nothing wrong to you, and God judged me faithful, and he gave me the sentence of no death. Well, the king was so happy. He said, get my friend out there now! And so they got Daniel out of the lion's den, and he looked at those evil men and he said, put them in there. Let them go in before you put that rock back on. Oh my goodness, those men were very afraid, and he threw them in. And did you know, before they even got to the bottom of the pit, those lions went, oh, hey, my mouth! Hey, look what's coming down. Ah! And they ate up those evil men who tried to hurt God's boy. Now, I want you to remember, friends, that when there's things coming up against you, sometimes it feels like a lion. Sometimes it feels like something mean and evil. It could be anything. Well, you know what? God gave you the power too. You can pray to God. You can ask God to help you, and He will. Talking to God is like power. When you plug something in, right? You talk to God and He will help you. Well, the king was so happy. You know what he said? He said, we're making a decree that everybody bows to Daniel's God. Only his God can deliver from the power of the lions. So I hope this was encouraging to you. It was encouraging to me just sharing it with you today. I love you very much. Now remember, God loves you. Hold strong, hold true. When you feel tempted of the devil, don't let him have that control. Say, nope, I bow to God and Him alone. And God will make you 10 times better. He loves us so much. If we only knew how much He loves us so much. Have a great day, and God bless you. Bye-bye.